Hello and welcome to another Doctor's Assistant 1 video. Today I'm doing a review of another Doctor Who comic book by Titan Comics. At first I didn't reckon much to this cover personally, but thinking about it, having a woman and or female with a gun and a burning, what kind of looks somewhat like a burning Union Jack, not gonna lie, I'm kind of happy about that cover, 10 out of 10, because, you know what, it's probably gonna piss off a lot of hashtag not my doctor lot, so, you know, hopefully they get really pissy about it online, because, you know, obviously, you know, women aren't real, grow up, that was a joke, but yeah, obviously, that's a thing, and obviously they love flags and wanking over them, and, you know, the Union Jack is a flag, spoiler alert, but, so yeah, hopefully this cover will really piss some people off, as I say, the hashtag not my doctor lot, so, if it does, brilliant, if it doesn't, it's an alright cover, but, as I say, if it does piss anyone off who's a hashtag not my doctor lot, then I think it's a 10 out of 10 cover. Anyway, that stupid joke and all thing aside, you have Rose Tyler, kind of looking a lot more older, and sort of in a grungier outfit, I suppose, with this very, very bright purple sort of scarf, and the big fuck-off gun from Journey's End, or Stolen Earth Journey's End, and then, as I've said before, you've got Union Jack in the background, Doctor Who comic, Titan Comics there, number 4 there, and a little bit here and there of stuff, and cover A there. On the back of the cover there, you've got like advertisement for a bunch of other Doctor Who related graphic novels, I'm pretty sure. Doctor Who Comics, previously the bio on the 13th Doctor, the 10th, Rose, Ryan, Yaz, Graham, and the TARDIS. Then you've got the website, or the Titan Comics website, Facebook and or Twitter, website, Twitter, and Facebook to contact them with any feedback. Writer, artist, colorist, so on, of people who made said thing. On the back, you've got information or quotes from different outlets about the 13th Doctor comic range. What else is out by Titan Comics this month, or some of their bigger releases for the month. What's out next, which is the very interesting Missy issue 1 to celebrate 50 years of the Master. And that, yeah, that'll be interesting. I'm not sure, please do correct me in the comment section below, but I'm not sure if Missy has turned up in the comics before. This might be her first debut, if not full-fledged outing. She might have been mentioned, or a brief cameo in a certain issue or something. These were the other covers you could have got. I quite like cover C personally, and then cover B is this more sort of photorealistic-y one. The graphic novel for Time Lord Victorious, which I would have got had I known it was only 2 single issues. I'd have just got the graphic novel. As I've said probably half a dozen times in these reviews. The fact that you can get the comics digitally from some different outlets and formats for tablets and phones and whatnot, which would be great if people were travelling places, I suppose. But we're not really doing that because of quarantine and or lockdown. That's another thing. Americans say quarantine. We always, in England, we always say lockdown. And I wonder if that is just a thing, a sort of country thing, or like, yeah, like American v England thing. I don't know. What was I going to say? I found this one alright. Yeah, it was nice. There was a little bit of not talking for a bit. It's weird. It does feel very Jodie Whittaker-y and all 13th Doctor era in that respect, that there is just a lot of dialogue and that. And yeah, I love the sort of tie-in to Time Lord Victorious, which I feel like is the first time they've ever done something like this, like a little box that just goes well, if you were wondering where the Doctor went, read go over here and read the Time Lord Victorious comics, which is interesting because that actually, I'm not gonna lie, made me kind of go, you know what? I kind of want to read the Time Lord Victorious Titan comics thing again, because again it was only 2 issues. So yeah, you've got some really nice shots and or panels even of the TARDIS above Earth and in space and whatnot, as well as dematerializing and going away. Nikola Tesla and Edison look pretty similar to their sort of TV counterparts, and that. And yeah, I like Whittaker and or the 13th Doctor even in this story. I like some of the sort of faces she pulls. She looks very expressive. This is a Doctor that weirdly enough works, I wouldn't say better in the comics, but kind of works in the comics quite a bit, you know, like that. Really nice sort of, you know, light smile and sort of, you know, like certain sort of faces she pulls and sort of things look less sort of silly, weirdly enough, in comic form, or you can get away with them maybe more in comic form, I'm not sure. But yeah, and then you've got the Queen Skithra sort of leader there, and I like the Skithra design and that, and yeah, as I said before in my previous review of issue 3, I like the TARDIS in the comics, even if I'm not, I don't love the TARDIS, this interior design that much, or as much as others, unfortunately, but in the comics it works for me, weirdly enough. I genuinely feel like the 10th Doctor in this one is very sort of in the background, you know, very meh, you know. And likewise with maybe even Rose to a certain extent, maybe a little bit lesser extent, I suppose. But yeah, it does have that sort of Chris Chibnall sort of 13th Doctor era problem of having way too many characters, and that, although it is cool what they do with the Skithra Queen in this issue, which I won't ruin, or what happens to her is quite interesting, and that, spoiler alert for the ending of this issue, because it leaves on a cliffhanger, the Corsair pops up, which is really cool because she's if I'm not mistaken, correct me in the comment section below if I am, but I'm pretty sure she's a female Time Lord, or Gallifreyan and or Time Lord, so I'd be really interested to see her interactions with the Doctor. I think they're allies, I'm not sure, but I think she's mentioned in obviously the Doctor's wife, and that he was a he at one point and then became a she, I think. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Corsair popped up in a previous 13th Doctor comic. I could be wrong about that, but yeah. What else? I think the sort of Whittaker and or 13th Doctor costume pops as well, actually, quite a bit in comic form as well. And that I feel like Yaz probably gets the most to do of the 3 13th Doctor companions. Ryan and Graham just kind of are there. What else? Yeah, I mean, this one kind of concludes this sort of parallel dimension shenanigans thing, I suppose. And so the assumption at some point is that maybe after the Missy and or Master sort of storyline, the 13th Doctor will just go back to being 13th Doctor comics standalone on her own with just her companions. I hope anyway, because I feel like, for me, there hasn't been a lot of those, or if there has, I just don't feel like lots of people talk about them, or either that, or they've just not maybe been well received, or if they have, not that many people are shouting about it from the rooftops, as it were. You know, or I don't know, I just feel like maybe the sales weren't that good, maybe, and that's why they've, thrown in Tennant into a lot of these, because people who make Titan comics probably know, or the Titan comics probably know that Whitaker isn't very popular amongst quite a few fans, I suppose, and that, so maybe that's why they're always throwing Tennant and all the 10th Doctor into these, and now with Rose as well, which I don't mind every now and then, but it can get a bit much. And it's nice that we've seen Rose in this, even though she's a lot more different than what you might have been expecting her to be like in the comics, or what she was like in the TV show, I suppose. But yeah, she's definitely different, which isn't a bad thing. And I think, honestly, there could have been a lot more with the 10th and Rose sort of story, and that, which is weird to say because I don't feel like we got a lot from Graham, Ryan, and Yaz in the 13th Doctor, because then as well they added the Skithra, and then the Sea Devils were in this, but then they've kind of faded out of it, like they're in issue 1 and 2, and then that's about it, so, like, if like, they're randomly just there, and then they're not, which is a bit annoying. I would be really interested to do an overview of this sort of mini 4-part mini-series thing, because it has its pros, and it definitely has its pros, but also cons as well. And I'd be really interested to do, as I say, a bit more of a deeper dive and or analysis and or sort of critique of the mini series as a whole, personally. But yeah, issue 4, pretty decent way to wrap things up and still sort of tie them into what might be happening at some point in the future for the 13th Doctor series of comics. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please do comment, rate and subscribe.